that to show you exactly what I'm doing so that you can focus your eyes there and you know what's happening. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times minus a, minus 3a. Minus a times 5, minus 5a. Minus times minus is plus. A times a is a squared. So there's your 15. Once again in the middle you have like terms. Minus 3 and minus 5 gives you minus 8a plus a squared. Alright, now don't think I'm punishing you. You see, you go on to number 32. Well, if you want to know a section properly, you have to do about 50 examples. So that's why in this section here, I'm numbering them from 1, and you'll see we're going to end up doing about 50 examples. And when you can do 50 and get them all right, then only you know your work. Otherwise, you're taking a big chance. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for a couple of seconds here so you can mark your work and you can have a good look and think about where you went right, and if you did go wrong, you can find your mistake and correct your work. So I'm giving you more examples now. Number 33, x plus y into x plus 2y. Number 34, a minus b into a plus 2b. Number 35, 2a plus 3b into 3a plus 5b. Number 36, 2a minus 3b into 4a plus 5b. Number 37, 2n plus 3n into 3m plus 4n. Number 38, x plus 2 into x minus 2. Number 39, a plus b into a plus b. Number 40, x, oh, it's a repeat. No, sorry, 38 was x plus 2 into x plus 2, sorry. So number 40 is x plus 2 into x minus 2. And finally, number 41, a plus b into a minus b. Well, take them down and work them out, and take your time and make sure that you check your work. When you finish an example, make sure you check your work and go through each step checking it and make sure that you get them right. So when we finish 41, then we'll do a new type of example. Alright, so we're going to let that run for a while so that you can take it down. Alright, so here are your answers. I'm not going to talk too much unless it needs an explanation. So that gives you x squared plus 2xy plus, you see, y times x is the same thing as xy, alright? Y times x is yx, but you can write it as xy in alphabetical order. Y times 2y will give you plus 2y squared. And that gives you x squared. There's a 2 here, and there's a 1 here that's understood, so altogether it is 3xy plus 2y squared. Right, let's do number 34. Number 34, you got a minus b into a plus 2b. Alright, so that will give you a plus 2b, a plus 2b, and here you have a, and here you have minus b, and that gives you a squared. A times 2b gives you 2ab. Now be careful, minus b times a gives you minus ab. Minus times plus gives you minus 2b squared. Remember, power law works here. You see, bases are the same. And here too, the power law is working. That's how we got a squared. By now, you must be able to get these answers like a times a squared. You must get it like that. Then you know your work. B times 2b squared, 2b squared. You must be able to get it like that fast. Right? If you are too slow, you'll have to practice. So there's a squared, and now here we have like terms. Plus 2 and minus 1 will give you plus 1. So that's plus 1ab minus 2b squared. Number 35. Two a plus 3b into 3a plus 5b. So you wrote the second bracket 2 times 3a plus 5b, 3a plus 5b. In the front here you got 2a, and in the middle there you got plus 3b. So you got plus 3b, and then you multiply. That gives you 2 3s, 6a squared, 2 times 5, well, plus times plus is plus, 2 times 5, 10ab, plus 3 times 3 gives you 9, a times b gives you ab, plus 3 times 5 gives you 15, b times b gives you b squared. And then bring down the 6a squared, and here you have like terms. 10 plus 9 will give you 19ab, plus bring down the 15b squared. Alright, so that's your answers for number 33, 34 and 35. Okay, so here we have number 36, and so I can write the answer just below it here. I can write the answer also just below it over here. So if I write the answer below it, the bracket 4a plus 5b will be written once, and then I'll write 4a plus 5b the second time, and then in the front here I will write 2a, and in the middle there will be minus 3b, right? So 2a times 4a gives me 8a squared. 2a times 5b gives me 10ab. Minus 3 times 4 will give you minus 12ab. Minus times plus gives you minus. 3 times 5, 15. B times b gives you b squared. So that's 8a squared. Now 10 plus 10 and minus 12 will give you minus 2ab minus 15b squared. So that's your answer for number 36. We'll move on to number 37. 2m plus 3n into 3m plus 4n. So if I write answer here, I write my second bracket down, 2 times in the front here I write 2m, in the middle here I write plus 3n, plus 3n. Now you multiply 2m, 2 3's, 6m times m squared. 2 times 4, 8. M times n will give you mn. Now multiplying here. 3n times 3m. 3 times 3 will give you 9. N times m. See, nm is the same as m, and it's the same thing. It's like saying 2 times 3 is 3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is also 6. So you can write m n here plus 3n times 4n will give you 12n squared. And then this is 6m squared. Now in the middle here we have like terms. 8 plus 9 will give you 17mn plus 12n squared. And that's your answer for number 37. So you must check your work and see that you did every step and that you got them all right. If you've made a mistake somewhere, find your mistake and correct them. We're on to number 38, x plus 2 times x plus 2. So I can write the answer down here. Write down the second bracket, 2 times. In the front here will be x, and in the middle here will be plus 2. So x times x is x squared. X times 2 plus 2x. Plus 2 times x will give you plus 2x. Plus 2 times plus 2 will give you plus 4. And that gives you x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now, some of your friends who may see this example will tell you this is called squaring a binomial. They're quite right. You see, x plus 2 is a binomial. If you remember our basics. So if you're multiplying a binomial by a binomial, then it's a binomial. It's called a binomial squared. So this example is actually called a binomial squared. But there's a shortcut for it. But instead of learning the shortcut, you rather learn one method, which is the distributive law, and it will help you to solve any problem. Alright, let's move on to number 39. Number 39, you got a plus b times a plus b. See, a plus b, 2 terms, it's a binomial. So this one is exactly that. So this is also called a binomial squared. You see, binomial squared. But we're not using the shortcut for binomial squared. We're doing the work step by step. So write down the second bracket, 2 times. Write down a here, and here we have plus b. A times a gives you a squared. A times b gives you ab. B times a gives you ab. I know you're thinking it is ba. Well, ba is the same as ab. It's the same thing. B times b is b squared. And so you got a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. See, there's a 1 understood here and there's a 1 understood here. So the 1 and the 1 added up gives you 2. That brings us to number 39. Okay. We're at number 40. X plus 2 into x minus 2. Write the second bracket down 2 times. Write down x here and write down plus 2 here. Okay, x times x, x squared. X times minus 2, minus 2x. Right, we finished here. Now, plus 2 times x will give you plus 2x. Plus times minus will give you minus. 2 times 2 will give you 4. Now, look nicely. In the middle you got like terms, right? So there's your x squared. Now, minus 2 plus 2 will give you 0. So there will be nothing left in the middle, right? Well, if you say, no, there is 0, so I'll write like this. It's plus 0x, because minus 2 and plus 2 gives you 0, and then you got minus 4. But 0 times anything is nothing. 0 times any number is 0. So the final answer is actually x squared minus 4, because there's nothing in the middle of it. Right. Now every now and then in this video you might hear some aeroplanes flying over us. Just in case you're wondering why there's so many planes in this area, we're not very far from the new airport, and they'll always be making noise above our head. So you just got to learn to get used to them. Right. And there's number 41. Okay, number 41. A plus B into A minus B. Right, let's bring the red pen back and let's put some color. Life should be colorful and interesting. So write down the second bracket 2 times. In the front here we have A, and here we have plus B. A times A squared. A times minus B is minus AB. B times A is plus AB. See, B times A again, it's BA, but it's the same thing as AB. So that, and then plus times minus gives you minus. Plus times minus gives you minus. B times B gives you B squared. And then finally here you have A squared. Now again, we got like terms here. And if I add those like terms up, I'll get 0. So I'm just going to do it step by step. So you'll get 0. So it's plus 0 AB minus B squared, which is finally what? A squared minus B squared. Right? Because 0 times anything is 0. So your final answer is A squared minus B squared. Okay. Right, now let's look at a new example. Let's call this example 2. And example 2, we will say it is m minus 4 all squared. So if you look at m minus 4 all squared, it's like this. If I told you 2 squared, you'll tell me it is 2 times 2. If I told you m squared, you'll tell me it is m times m. Therefore, if I got m minus 4 all squared, let's write it here, it will be better. If I got m minus 4 all squared, then it means this bracket must be written 2 times just like that. So that's what it means. It means write the bracket down 2 times. So to cut a long story short, if you got m minus 4 squared, therefore write the bracket down 2 times. That's all. M minus 4 squared, write the bracket down 2 times. And then after that, it's straightforward, just like what we did before. Write the second bracket down 2 times. Write down m in the front here, write down minus 4 there. And then you get m squared minus 4m plus 16. And then you get m squared, add the middle terms up, the like terms, you get minus 8m plus 16. Alright, let's just do another example just like this. Say we had x plus 2 all squared. Because it is squared, I must write the bracket down 2 times. So it will be x plus 2, x plus 2. Now, the second bracket will be written down 2 times. In the front here, we're going to write x. In the middle there, we're going to write plus 2. X times x, x squared, x times 2, plus 2x. Plus 2 times x is plus 2x. Plus times plus is plus, 2 times 2 is 4. And the final answer will be x squared. See, these are like terms here. We're adding them up, you get plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so these 2 examples are called squaring a binomial. This is called squaring a binomial. But what we did is we're doing it the long way, step by step. There is a shortcut for it. We'll show you the shortcut shortly. But first, let's learn to do it step by step. Alright, let me give you a little exercise on squaring of binomials, and then you can continue with that exercise. And wait, just before you do the exercise, let me just remind you about something very, very important. You see, if you got 2x, let's say 2m times 2m, then you must remember it's 2 times 2, 4m, index 1, 4m squared, because some of the examples you might have to multiply 2m by 2m like that. Alright, here's your 2 examples, and I will give you an exercise shortly. 2x plus 2 all squared. And I'll just leave some space for answer there. Then we're going to do number 43. 43 is x minus 2 all squared. Let me leave some space for an answer there. And we'll do number 44. 44 is a plus b all squared. Let's do this 3, and then I'll do the next 3 again. Alright, so you can take them down, you can try them, and try them, and then we will mark them for you. And so the first thing you did is you wrote the bracket down 2 times. Okay, and after you wrote it down 2 times, everything else was normal. In other words, you wrote the second bracket 2 times, and you wrote down x here, you wrote plus 2 there, and you had x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4, and that gave you x squared plus 4x plus 4. Right, let's look at the next example. You had x minus 2 all squared. So I trust you wrote x minus 2 into x minus 2, step 1. And then there's your x minus 2. There's your x minus 2. Write down x here and write down minus 2 here. And that gives you x squared minus 2x minus 2x, minus that minus is plus 4, and that finally gives you the answer x squared minus 4x plus 4. And now we come to the last example, or number 44. I trust you wrote a plus b into a plus b, and then you have to write the second bracket 2 times. Here you have a, here you have plus b, and that gives you a squared ab. ab, see b times a, again it's ba, which is the same thing as ab. So that's ab plus b squared. And that finally gives you a squared plus 1a plus 1a gives you 2ab plus b squared. Right. So we finished 42, 43, 44. Now you may be interested in the shortcut. There's a shortcut to do this. Let me leave the shortcut story for another day, or right in the end. Let's master whatever we are learning. Okay, so have a good look at that, mark your work, and then we shall move on to the next three examples. We have number 45 and 46. Number 45, it's x minus 5 all squared, and in 46 you have 2x minus 3 all squared. Alright, so go and just try them and just do it step by step and get it right. Alright, so I didn't tell you to stop the DVD. I hope you by now you know that you have to stop the DVD and then do the exercise. Alright, so like a good boy or a good girl, you write the bracket down 2 times. Then you just follow the steps. Write the second bracket 2 times. In the front x, in the middle minus 5. When you multiply that, you get x squared minus 5x minus 5x plus, because you got minus 5 times minus 5 plus 25. Because minus times minus gives you plus. And that finally gives you x squared minus 10x, because you are adding these two up. Minus 5 plus minus 5, you're adding them up. Plus 25. So that finishes number 45. On to number 46. Good boy and a good girl will always write down the 2 brackets and then repeat the second bracket 2 times. In the front here you have 2x, and in the middle here you have minus 3. You have minus 3. Okay, now 2x times 2x gives you 4x squared. So what we're saying is, if you're squaring 2x, it is 2x times 2x, and that gives you 4x squared. Or if you remember your power rules from before, the power goes on to each one. So it's 2 squared, which is 4, x squared is x squared. Right, so that's 4x squared minus 6x. Minus 3 times 2 gives you minus 6x. Minus 3 times minus 3 gives you plus 9. And that gives you 4x squared minus 12x. Remember, we're adding those two up. You put minus 6 plus minus 6 in your calculator, and you see you get minus 12 plus 9. So that's the answer for number 47. And we have one more to do for you on squaring a binomial. That's number 47. Alright, you can mark your work, and then we'll move on to 40. So here's number 47. 2m minus 3 all squared, and you can complete that, and I'll mark it for you shortly. Alright, so you wrote 2m minus 3 into 2m minus 3. Then you have to write the second bracket 2 times. And in the front here you have 2m. In the middle here you have minus 3. Now 2m times 2m gives you 4m squared. 2m times minus 3 gives you minus 6m. Minus 3 times 2 gives you minus 6m. Minus times minus gives you plus 9. And then once again bring down the 4m squared. Add those like terms up. Minus 6 plus minus 6 gives you minus 12m plus 9. So that brings us to the end of the examples on squaring a binomial. Alright, later on when we finished with products, then we will come to the shortcuts. Let's look at example 3. In example 3 we're saying minus 5 into m minus 4 all squared. So we've gone one step further now on binomial squared. You see, we've got a binomial squared here and we're multiplying it by minus 5. So let's understand this first. What is this saying? It is saying square first, then multiply by minus 5. That's what this question is saying. It is saying square first, then multiply by minus 5. That's what it is saying. So, if you try to do this example, it might be better if I write the answer here. So I must leave the minus 5 just like that here. And I can introduce a new type of bracket called square bracket. So leave the minus 5 here and we'll do all our working inside here. So you want to get that answer there. So if you want to get that answer there, if you want to get the answer for m minus 4 squared, then all that working will be done inside here. So let's do it. So this will really be m minus 4 into m minus 4. So just bring down this minus 5 here like that. So this will be m minus 4, m minus 4, in the front here m, in the middle here minus 4, and then we close it. Just bring down the minus 5. So this will give you m squared minus 4m minus 4m plus 16. You'll find I'm now not explaining where this is coming from, because by now you should know that m times m is m squared, m times minus 4 is minus 4m, minus 4 times m is minus 4m, minus 4 times minus 4 is plus 16. If you're sitting there and if you don't know this, then it means you still haven't learned the basics and you have to go back and learn the basics. Right, so now in the examples when I'm multiplying, I'm not going to be talking, I will just write the answers down because by now you're supposed to know the basics. So there's your minus 5, there's your m squared, I'm just adding that, gives you minus 8m plus 16. So you see, we have found that answer and it is written here. Now we finish square. Now we can multiply by minus 5. So the last step is minus 5 times m squared gives you minus 5m squared. See? Minus times minus gives you plus 40m. Watch. Minus times minus will give you plus 5 eighths 40, and then minus times plus will give you minus. Well, if you don't know the rules, and 5 times 16 gives you 80. But if you don't know the rules, no problem, put in your calculator. Minus 5 times minus 8, you will get plus 40. Minus 5 times plus 16, and you will get minus 80. Alright, so that's your final answer. So what we're saying is, when you got a bracket and you got a minus sign outside it or a plus sign and something to multiply here, square first, then multiply. Alright? So you'll get some examples like this. Okay, let me just give you just one to do for you to practice, and then we will come to more examples a little later. So let's get the duster. Okay, that's because I'm following a certain number pattern. So suppose I told you minus 3 into x plus 2 all squared. So I want you to work it out. So just try it and work it out, and then I'll proceed to the next type of examples. Okay, so you wrote minus 3 here and you put in your square bracket there, and you put it in your square bracket, then you said right. First, I could write that down 2 times. Okay, hopefully you got that step right. Then you said right, bring down the minus 3, keep this bracket here, write down this bracket 2 times. In the front here we got x, and in the back here we got plus 2. Bring down that minus 3, and then you multiply x times x, x squared, x times 2, plus 2x. Plus 2 times x is plus 2x, plus 2 times plus 2 is plus 4. Bring down the minus 3, that gives you x squared, and here you get plus 4x plus 4. And then you multiply it by minus 3. So minus 3 times x will give you minus 3x squared, minus 3 times 4. You see, minus times plus is minus, so it will be minus 12x. Minus times plus is minus, so minus 12. And so that's your final answer. Alright, so if you're watching this DVD and somewhere along the line you find I made a mistake, please write to me, send me an email telling me where I made a mistake so that I can correct it and everybody else can benefit. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the last type of examples on products, which is actually cubing a binomial. So we're going to move on to the last type of examples. Now, be very careful when you're trying to learn these things from the DVD. You should be learning on one day just how to multiply 2 brackets. Then on another day, you should be learning how to square a binomial. In other words, how to do the brackets with a square sign. So what we're saying is, on day 1, you should be learning how to do things like this. On day 2, on another day, you should be learning how to square binomials. You see, that's one day's work. Then this you must learn on another day. Don't try to learn everything the same day, then you get confused. And if you're trying then on the 3rd day, you should be learning a thing like this. You see? So, all examples and whatever we are talking about, that kind of examples must be done on day 1. In other words, you should be doing up till number 29 on day 1. On day 1 you should be doing up till example number 29. Then on day 2 you should be learning to do from number, on day 1 you can go right up till number 41. You can go right up till number 41. But when you're learning day 1, you should break it up into 2 sessions. Session 1 and session 2. In other words, do about 20 examples, have some rest, then go into another 21 examples, and then see how you're doing. Then day 2, you should be learning only how to square binomials. In other words, on day 2, you should be learning from 42 till 47. You should be doing only 42 till 47 on day 2. See? And then on day 3, you should be doing 48 to 53. So that is why I've numbered the examples right from 1 to 53, for you to know that, look, you have to do lots of examples to understand things. But you don't have to do all one day, you just do them bit by bit. So if you do the first 20 examples, they're very, very simple. It'll take you only about 1 hour. Then if you do the next 21, it'll take you about another hour. 20 examples, 3 minutes each, is 60 minutes. So that's why this amount of work can be done in 2 hours. But that's all the learning for one day, then that's the learning for another day, and that's the learning for another day. Don't try to learn everything one day. Take it step by step, day by day. Alright, we're going to move on to example 3. Right. Alright, I said example 3. Sorry, I apologize. I made a mistake. I was supposed to tell you example 4 because This is the last type of example we're doing. Example 4. Right. In example 4, we're telling you m minus 3 all cubed. What will you do? Right. Now just relax and follow. Just be calm, relax. So it's 3. Therefore, I must write the bracket 3 times. So that's very easy. Just write the bracket down 3 times. Step 1. M minus 3 all cubed. Write the bracket down 3 times. Now, what you must do is do this part here first. Right? Do that part first. Because we know how to do that part. We know how to do 2 at a time. In other words, we know how to multiply 2 brackets at a time. So, this one will just come down like this. You just write it down like this. And that answer, we're keeping it in a square bracket. Right? So, write this first one down here just like that. And that answer will be inside over here. So, if I'm doing that part, I will have to write m minus 3 2 times. And in the front here, I'll have to write m, sorry about that, let's write a little better, right, that's better, m. And in the middle here, we got minus 3. See? So, there's your m minus 3. And now that we know how to do. M times m, m squared. M times minus 3, minus 3m. Minus 3 times m, minus 3m. Minus 3 times minus 3, plus 9. Then just write this bracket down here, m minus 3. So that will give you m squared minus 6m. You see, we're adding these two up. They're like terms, plus 9. And now, relax. Now, you've got 2 brackets. So when we've got 2 brackets, what we do? We always write the second bracket 2 times. So you've got to write the second bracket 2 times. So you see, that is the second bracket. So I'm going to write it 2 times. M squared minus 6m plus 9. M squared minus 6m plus 9. Only difference is that there's 3 terms inside the bracket now. But the second bracket will be written down 2 times, like before. And in the front here, what we're going to write? We're going to write m. You see, the m comes here. And what's going to go in the middle there? The minus 3. You see? I'll repeat. So, we came up till this step here. Now, if you look carefully, there's only 2 brackets here. So, we always say, write the second bracket 2 times. So, this is the same, the second bracket. I'm going to write the second bracket 2 times. So, I wrote the second bracket 2 times. Then the first term from the first bracket goes here. And the second term from the second bracket goes there. And then after that, smooth sailing, no problem. We're going to multiply. So, m times m squared gives you m cubed. Because we're using the laws of indices or the laws of powers. Write down the common base, add the indices. Then m1 times minus 6m. Well, plus times minus is minus. M, you see 1 here. 1 times 6 is 6. And that's m to the 1 and that's m. So it will be m squared. There's a 1 understood later, isn't it? So m times 6m is 6m squared. Then m times 9 will give you plus 9m. Then minus 3 times that will give you minus 3m squared. Minus times minus will give you plus. 3 times 6 will give you 18m. Right? You see? Minus times minus give you plus. 3 times 6m gives you 18m. And finally, minus 3 times plus 9 is minus 27. And now if you look carefully, you got m cubed here, you got m squared here, and you got m squared here. Can you see that? So minus 6 and minus 3 going to be added up, you get minus 9m squared. And then if you look carefully again, you got plus 9m and you got plus 18m. So those are like terms and those two can be added. So you get plus 27m. And finally what's left is minus 27. So that's how we cube a binomial, right? This 3 is called a cube, C-U-B-E, cube. So we're taking a binomial and we cubing the binomial. Now there is a shortcut for this too, but forget about shortcuts. Shortcuts are very dangerous. So first learn to do things properly, learn to do it step by step, and then you'll get it right. Alright, so let's go through this method again. If I got this bracket, because it's 3, I'll write the bracket down 3 times. Then when I see that question, I think in my head that look, I know how to multiply 2 brackets. So I'm going to multiply these 2 brackets and I'm going to write the answer down here. This bracket, I'll just bring it down. So if I'm multiplying those 2, you write the second one 2 times. Right? And then you write m here and then you write minus 3 here. Then you just bring this down again. Then m times m, m squared. M times minus 3, minus 3m. Minus 3 times m, minus 3m. Minus 3 times minus 3, plus 9. Then when we're looking in this bracket here, we can see like terms. Just bring this down. There's your m squared. Minus 3m and minus 3m gives you minus 6m, and bring down that 9. And then you realize that, look, you got 2 brackets here that you are multiplying. Therefore, write the second bracket down 2 times. Write the first term in front of the first bracket. Write the second term in front of the second bracket. And then simply multiply. M times m squared is m cubed. M times minus 6m is minus 6m squared. M times plus 9. In other words, you're multiplying 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. You're multiplying 3 times. Then same thing here. Minus 3 times m squared gives you minus 3m squared. Minus 3 times minus 6m gives you plus 18m. Minus 3 times plus 9 gives you minus 27. Then when we looked at this step, we found there's 2 sets of like terms. You've got m squared and m squared, minus 6m squared and minus 3m squared. When you add them up, you get minus 9m squared. Then you've got 9m and 18m, add them up and you get 27m. And then simply bring down the minus 27. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the next example and I'm going to go step by step and I'm going to tell you to write it down. Okay, we're going to try that now.